Hi, Bill.
Hey, Aaron, how are you?
Good. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Thank you.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Well, I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to me.
Yep.
Um, give you a little background on me. I've been doing mortgages for 20 plus years, 25 plus years. Um, and really want to focus on divorce mortgage planning in a way to, share my knowledge, give back, pay it forward, that type of thing. I've been doing this long enough that there are a lot of things that oftentimes are not realized with regard to the family real estate that I might be able to, be part of your team and help with. So,
Okay.
okay. And I do not charge. The only fee per ECOA that I can receive is if and when I would do a loan, I would get the commission on that. So, okay. Any questions on that?
No, no, I think that's the way it works for everybody. It's doing loans. Hopefully
Yeah,
they get
yeah,
something.
yeah,
That's right.
right. Can you give me a little background knowledge about yourself and your practice?
Yeah, sure. For about 18 and a half years, I did insurance defense work in a firm that represented people who were insureds for State Farm. And I defended them when they were sued for accidents and things. And my concentration was in not only the accident type liability itself, but mostly in neurological and orthopedic
Oh,
injury.
wow.
Did a lot of work with doctors and cross-examining doctors and trying jury trials and stuff for technically for State Farm, but to defend their insureds who were being sued. Then about 27 years ago or something like that, I decided I would switch out to do something that was more connected with people than with a company. We would have insureds that we would represent, but we were always just the insurance company lawyers, and we really never got close to them or could help them with anything
Right.
besides just doing that lawsuit. So I decided to go into family law about 27 years ago, and I've been doing it ever since then.
Great, great. And is there a specialty in family law that you focus on or not really?
We do. I mean, we do custody, divorce, dissolution, prenuptial agreements, post-nuptial agreements now with a new change in the law, spousal support, child support, and all of that stuff. I mean, the divorce especially involves valuation of, for instance, real estate, businesses, stock options, all kinds of valuation type stuff we deal with too.
Gotcha, gotcha. I know that each divorce is unique and, you're an expert. What would you say if you could give someone starting the process of divorce or dissolution, any advice or any tips?
The tips, well, the tip or advice I can think of would be don't get hung up on trying to teach somebody on the other side a lesson or on what people call principles all the time. They say it's the principle of the thing. And, I try to look at the case and the lawsuit more as a business proposition. And I say to people, if we spend, if we do what you want to do, we may spend $20,000 and we'll get $20,000 back for that. So is that a good business proposition? No, it's not. Would you rather be outside in your yard laying in the sun or, here with me every week, feeling like you're redoing your taxes every week because of all the information everybody's asking from you? So no. And, I always say, if you want to do something out of principle, take the money you would have paid me. Well, right now at lunch, I'll ask you to walk over to Children's Hospital and walk around on
I
the
like that.
and then see if you think you could do better giving those kids some money, especially the ones who are really suffering, as opposed to giving it to me to try to teach your spouse some kind of principle. So
Right,
I
right.
usually say, I don't need to go. You're right. So yeah.
That's a good way to look at it. So
Yeah.
good. What do you tell people to look for? Obviously, you want them to use you, but what do you tell them to look for in an attorney or anyone involved with the divorce planning team?
Okay. Well, for the attorney, I think one of the most important things is the connections the attorney has with expert witnesses, actually, because you need a lot of expert witnesses for different things like real estate valuation, financing, sometimes personal property appraisal, sometimes psychologists, sometimes business evaluators. There's all kinds of experts you need. And so I think that if you're looking at an attorney, you'd want somebody who had a really good connection with lots of good and well-respected experts. You want your attorney to be respected too.
Right, right.
I think for me personally in life, especially with financial people like my accountants and things, what I've always looked for is someone who speaks English. I don't want somebody staring at me saying, you know, your 1120S was probably
ABD and QRX, and yeah, I hate acronyms and lingo. I really try to avoid that. That's
so I'd say somebody who I say speaks English, you know, that you can understand, that communicates with you, can make you understand. Secondly, on attorneys, and I suppose all experts and attorneys and everybody else would be, but somebody who has like compassion for what they are doing and compassion, hopefully, for your case, and someone who shows genuine interest and has good ideas about what you should do and has your best interest in mind, which a lot of times means getting the case done, you know, now as opposed to 2 years
don't
from
drag it out.
saves a lot of money. Also, I think an important thing is availability. People don't call their attorneys or email them at 7 o'clock at night for fun. They usually know they're going to have to pay the person. So they must have something they need answered and that they are willing to pay for. And too many attorneys and other people don't respond in a timely manner to people, or sometimes don't respond at all. They always say that in malpractice cases, regardless of what the reason for the malpractice was, the first thing the former clients will say when they're allowed to is, he or she never treated me like I was a human being and never answered my emails or called me back. They get angry and feel terrible because of that. So I think communication is super important.
Super important. I agree completely. And, you know, I always tell people when they say, well, can I call you later? In fact, I've had 2 people today that said, you know, can I call you? I said, yeah, I don't work banker's hours. You can call me. Don't call me at 2 a.m. unless it's an emergency, but you know, you can call me till 9 o'clock at night and at 7 o'clock in the morning. You know, weekends, that's fine. Like you said, they're calling because they have something important to say.
Exactly.
So, do you have a memorable case that, you know, kind of epitomizes what you do or that really stuck with you?
I have a case that stuck with me years ago in another county. I had a guy come to me, had 4 children, and his wife had been telling everyone that she could not work, that she had cancer, and that he was abusing their 4 children. It was at the point where the neighbors were mowing the grass for her and bringing her food. The kids were missing school a lot. She had all types of medical excuses for them from a local pediatrician's office. And she kept reporting alleged abuse by him to everybody and anybody she could talk to. This county, the other county, police officers, doctors, everybody. When we took the case, I believed my client. And I told him, I said, this is like trying to walk a tightrope with glass in it across the Grand Canyon barefoot. I mean, I don't know what we can get done, but after lots and lots and lots of work, we proved not that she was not unemployed. She was making $200,000 or $300,000 working for a local financial institution. She had never had cancer. Okay. The missing of school with the pediatrician's appointments turned out to have been done all with forged excuses from the pediatrics place. What else? Let me see. She was also, during the case, trying to get one of the girls to have exploratory surgery because she said there was something wrong with the child's stomach. We put a stop to that. As soon as the case was over, the child was fine. There were just problem after problem after problem. And after a couple of years of super hard work and about 5 days of trial, we ended up with custody of all the girls, and also an order that the mom couldn't be around them unless she was supervised because she was doing so much harm to them and told so many lies and done so many terrible things. So we went from almost impossible to a good result on that. And that was years ago. And the client, actually, he just wrote me the other day about how he's doing. He moved to another state way down. He was already living in another state way down in the South. when this started. She had moved up here and started this action, but he's still down there and doing real well. The kids who were getting D's in school at the time and missing lots of school end up all excelling and being top of their
Oh,
class.
that's wonderful. I mean, how traumatic for those children, because they knew, you know.
And I don't know that they'll ever get over any of that, but we did the best we could do with what the tools were that we had, at least.
Yeah. Wow. Well, I really appreciate you taking time. I don't want to keep you too much. But if somebody wanted to get a hold of you, because we're going to, you know, post this, how would they get a hold of you? Do you have a good website or email?
Well, we have a good website. It's called columbusfamilylawyer.com. Just one lawyer, not familylawyers.com, but columbusfamilylawyer.com. And that's a good way to get a hold of us. It has our numbers in there, and also biographies of the attorneys. There's 2 other attorneys who work with me, and some case examples in there of things, and some information in connection to blogs we've written and stuff like that.
Great, great, great. I really appreciate that. And then let's see what else. Do you mind if I add you to my mailing list of my newsletter?
Oh, no, that'd be great. I appreciate it.
I think you would appreciate it.
I looked over your sample reports on what you do and things like that, and I think they're very important because you go into lots of different scenarios of different ways to handle home sales and purchases, and different bottom line good analysis after expenses of what it would take to do what anyone wanted to do per month, and how it's going to affect everyone. And I think that's important because they have more than one option to consider. And I believe you had said somewhere in one of your emails or something that you thought that people ought to think about that before they get done with a case. And I agree 1000%, because you don't know what, you know, many times, while you can ask for what you want the court to order, or if you're doing a settlement, you can write up the settlement and put in there what everyone will agree on. But when it comes to something like sale of a house or paying somebody out on their equity, the words all matter.
They do.
People are stuck doing what they thought they should do at the beginning, but they found out it wasn't such a good idea. They're stuck because it's a court order. So I think that you can do very well in informing people of all the different potential scenarios before they write up something like that, or before they ask for something like that.
And to know what they can qualify for, and how are we going to structure it so that they can qualify, hopefully, for what they want. So yeah. And, you know, another thing is the escrow account. So many times, you know, if someone's staying in the house, they assume that past escrow account, that they're just going to get it. Well, both of your names are on that. So, you know, that's part of the negotiation that can happen up front.
Yeah, and I usually mention that in my settlements, but I don't know if I've seen anyone else ever mention escrow accounts.
Wow. No, I've not seen it in all my years of decrees.
Yeah, and there's not only escrow accounts on houses, there's money sitting around on phone utilities and things too sometimes. But,
Right.
yeah, and that's a good thing about having an expert like you, who's independent and objective, sitting back and looking at stuff. You're not all worked up and upset because you're getting a divorce and you're worried about your kids. You know, you're back there saying there are many different things we need to look at where there may be money laying around that we have to split or at least allocate in the divorce.
Right. And allocate it correctly. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I appreciate your time and look forward to meeting you in person.
Good. Yes.
Now, are you part of the win-win group?
No. That you're talking about arbitration type. Whatever.
Yeah.
No, I am not. I prefer to just stay on the side of being called when it's at the last minute and it's time to actually get serious about trial. I understand that in that group and in that practice, you have to say, I'm here only for the purpose of trying to get this settled. And that's wonderful. I do a lot of mediations, which is more like that.
Right.
I don't want to be there just trying to get it settled and then not be able to represent the person.
Right.
But I
Okay.
think it's a good thing to have. Anything we have where people have to sit down and talk and try to work out stuff, I believe is wonderful.
I do too. Well, I really appreciate your time and look forward to talking to you again soon. So you have my contact information. If I can help any of your clients, I'd love to help.
All right. I appreciate it, Erin.
All right. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.